Well, hello, welcome to another episode of Jim's Allotment Garden. We're sort of round the back end of March now. We've managed to get plenty of things done on the allotment. We've done all sorts of rotivating and clearing up. We've had a bit of a fire going, and we've started to clear out the raspberries. So this is all coming up in Jim's Allotment Garden. Okay, so I'm just going to plant the Alpine Strawberries. So these are from Sutton's, and Regina is the actual breed. And these are the ones I grew last year, and I was a bit late in growing them last year, but just to let you know what they look like now, because they never flowered or fruited last year. Basically, they stayed in the tray, and I'll see if they'll come something. But what I might do is get an early crop off them. But for this year, what I'm going to do is plant some more. Now these can be sown between January, February, March time. So if anything, I'm a bit late again, to be honest with you. But because of the coldness. Now these, basically all you need to do is sow these about 3 millimeters deep. So basically I've just got two little sort of trays with 9 compartments in each, and all I'm going to do is as they only need to be sort of 3 centimeters deep. Now the actual seed is really I'm just sort of patting these down a little bit, just to try and get a bit of an indentation to put them in, basically. But the seed is really fine. There's almost nothing to it. I mean, if you imagine the seed from round the edge of a strawberry, that's basically the size of them. But I'll show you what they look like in a second. I don't need too many, so I'm going to put about sort of 3 or 4 in each of these compartments. So that's actual seed, and it's really small, almost like dust really. But all I'm going to do is just pinch just a few in each one, trying to spread them out as best I can. Now in this one here I've actually got 12 compartments, so it doesn't really make any odds. But what I will do is, as soon as these have started to grow, what I will do is plant them in the greenhouse, possibly amongst the tomatoes on the floor. And all I'm going to do is, obviously because it says you only need 3 millimeters, I've got some really fine compost, and I'm just kind of sprinkling it rubbing it between my hands just to sprinkle it on. Just make sure I've got no lumps in there. Just make sure I've got. Sometimes it's worthwhile sort of going both ways, if you like, sort of going this way as well. So I think I've got them pretty much covered now. I'll just pat them down now, just a little bit of water on there. Now obviously, you know, because the seeds are small, typically I always use the sort of rule of thumb that the smaller the seed, the shallower you plant them, and obviously, you know, because these are really small, you only just put them just below the soil. So if you do ever collect any seeds, I always find that the larger the seed, the deeper you need to plant it, basically. So a seed that looks like you know, these I've just shown you, you know, just a couple of millimeters below the soil, or if you want to grow things like beans, for example, that's obviously a big seed. They need to go sort of a couple of inches deep in the pot, or over an inch anyway. Things like nasturtiums and stuff, they're reasonably large seeds. so I'd probably put them about an inch or a couple of centimetres down. So what I'm going to do now is just put a piece of glass over these to keep them warm, to try and get them to germinate in the greenhouse, and I shall see what happens to these. Now I think I'm possibly a little bit late with these as well, to be honest with you, but never mind, we'll just have to see how we go on. So that's the Alpine Strawberries for this year. Okay, so I just want to do a quick sort of question and comment section for all the people who have left questions and stuff over the past few weeks. I have replied to everybody by writing, but I just want to mention, because obviously these are useful for other people. The first one comes from Melanie C, and she's over in Canada, so her conditions are a little bit colder than they are here. But she was saying, in response to the video I put out last week with regard to the potatoes and stuff like that, and she was saying how her grandfather used to actually plant the peelings off the potatoes, like I was explaining last time, which is exactly what my father did during just after the Second World War, and also my grandfather and great grandfather used to do it as well. So basically, what I was explaining was, if you get a potato, you can cut the potato up and just plant sections of the potato, or if times are really hard, obviously what they used to do was peel the potatoes and then plant the peelings, basically. So you can do that. And what you can actually find is, if you put potato peelings in the ground like I do, rather than sort of composting them first, so when I'm doing the bean trenches and pea trenches and stuff like that, I'll just put the cuttings straight in. What you can get is the odd rogue potato plant growing there, which is basically grown from the peeling. So the potato size isn't that important. What is important is you've got basically the eye, and then it will actually grow. So that's from Melanie C. Thank you. Melissa C. Sorry. Thank you for your comment. The next one's from Nigel and DIS. Now Nigel always puts plenty of comments on on my channel. I do appreciate that. But one thing I would like to do for Nigel is just to give him a quick shout out. Nigel's his normal channel's DIS Wolves, and he's put lots of videos on of his sort of holidays and stuff like that. But just recently he started his own allotment channel, very much like this one. He's over in Wolverhampton, so he's not too far away from me, which is exactly where I actually come from, Wolverhampton originally. And so if you look out for Muddy Boots, spelt MUDDYBOOTZ, Nigel's put out a couple of videos so far of his allotment, and the two videos he's put out so far have been really good, and I've really enjoyed watching them, so that's one to look out for. The next one's from Foodie Laura. She was saying about how many potatoes that I've sort of put out. Now there are about 450 potatoes I've put out. I'm only going to use sort of half of them probably, and I'll give the rest away to my friends in the allotment. So don't worry, I'm not going to put too many potatoes in. I'm going to be doing about half the plot, so it's going to be about 15 rows. So basically what I'm going to do is move the tunnel, put the onions in so I know how much room I've got, and then from the onions up I'm going to basically fill with potatoes. There might be the odd row of something else, but I'm going to try and get plenty of potatoes, because over the last couple of weeks we've run out of potatoes now, because last year we only got about 150-160 kilos of potatoes, and because last year was quite dry, so I had lots of potatoes, but they're all reasonably small. And I'm feeding a family of 5. Obviously there's my wife, myself and my 3 kids, and all my kids are kind of sort of 16, 13 and well, almost 11, my daughter, and they obviously they've all got big appetites, so we do get through quite a few potatoes. So I just want to make sure I've got plenty of potatoes this year. So I don't normally have that many sweet potatoes, but I don't want them to go to waste, so I will be giving some out to my allotment friends that are on here and sort of in the village. So thanks for your comment, Laura. The next one is from Liam McNally, and he was asking about the sand. I was talking about the cuttings I put in last week. These ones here of the lavender. He was saying, what sand do you use? I mean, really you can use pretty much any sand. I mean, what I do is use sharp sand, because that's typically quite cheap. You can buy a big bag of sharp sand for about £1 or £2, but you can use kiln dried sand, which is always good. That's the sand that you use for block paving. That, you know, you can buy that from pretty much most garden centres and hardware stores, or you can use sandpit sand. Now all of these sand, the reason I recommend those three are the sharp sand, sandpit sand, or kiln dried sand. They're all pretty much the same thing. Is because they're basically washed, so you know there's no sort of bugs or anything in there. And obviously, if you're putting cuttings in, you need to make sure that you stay as hygienic as possible. So you don't want any to introduce any bugs or anything into the soil. So I always recommend doing that. I wouldn't get builder's sand because that's not necessarily, even though it is probably washed. There is potentially some sort of bugs in there. So either sandpit sand, obviously that's clean because kids use it, or kiln dried sand that's gone through a kiln, so there's nothing in there. Any bugs that are possibly in there have been killed off in the kiln, or just sort of washed sharp sand. Any of those will do the sort of do the trick. But you don't need to be too sort of concerned about the type that you use. The next comment from Mark Davidson. Mark's another good friend of mine. He's got his channel, and he was talking about the dahlias. And basically, what he said he does is he grows his dahlias like I have in the pots I showed you earlier on. And he said when the sort of shoots get to kind of 6 inches tall or so, what he does is he takes a few cuttings off them, puts his dahlias out, the remainder of the plant out, and then obviously if any of those fail in the garden, he's still got his cuttings as like a backup plan. So that seems a good idea. Not done that yet, but I will be trying that this year, Mark. The next one's from Steve Parker. Thanks for your comments, Steve. Steve's got some guinea pigs, but he hasn't got chickens, and he was saying, can he use the guinea pig manure? There's no reason why you can't do that. Obviously, guinea pig manure, or the straw that's in there, it's all good for the ground. You can either, this time of year, you can pretty much dig it straight in the ground. Obviously, guinea pig manure is not as rich as in nutrients as sort of chicken manure is. It's most certainly not as acidic. But you can dig it in the ground now, and that'll that'll do the ground a lot of good. The straw is really the thing that you want to put in the ground, because that's going to be adding carbon, organic material to the ground, and also it'll help with soil retention. So water retention. So anything like potatoes, peas, beans, anything like that are most certainly going to thank you for putting that kind of stuff in the ground, because it's going to hold the moisture and give them nutrition. So by all means, this time of year, dig it in the ground. If you're digging bean trenches or pea trenches, or even potato trenches, put it in the trench with with everything else, and that'll do really well. For the rest of the year, what I would suggest you do is compost it in a one of them black bins like that I've got, and or you build yourself something out of pallets. Let that rot down during the year, and then sort of this time next year, dig that into the ground, and that'll do you all right. What you can do actually, if you like, is you can, on your potatoes, you can sort of put it around your potatoes after you've planted them. If you do get some a bit later on. But personally, I'd probably want to sort of compost it down a bit before I put it on the ground, if you're not putting it in right away. The next one's from Ken. Ken Fuller. Thank you for all your comments, Ken. I always appreciate any comments that you leave. Now, Ken was talking about the F1 seeds that I was talking about, and just to sort of reiterate, F1 seeds are basically pure bred seeds. So basically, what they'll have is a controlled environment. So they'll have a tunnel or a greenhouse or something like that, where no insects can get in there, and there's no other plant similar to it anywhere close to it. So all of the seeds that are in there have been pollinated by exactly the same plant. They're all exactly the same. So with an F1 hybrid, you can guarantee that every plant that you grow will be identical. If you've got any other plants, so if you've got an allotment here, obviously my next door neighbour's going to be growing pretty much the same vegetables as me, and all the way around. And the bees are going to be going all over all of the different plants, and they're going to be cross-pollinating. And as soon as you cross-pollinate it, it'll be a hybrid between the two plants. Now, F-bred hybrids are no hybrid. They are basically the pure plant. They can be a hybrid, but all of the seeds will be the same. So the comment that Ken left was, if you he saved some seeds from an F1 hybrid that he grew, and he said that the following year the seeds weren't the same, and that's why basically the following year they won't be an F1 hybrid, because you've not grown them in a controlled environment, so they'll have cross-pollinated with some other plant which is similar to it, and you're going to get some kind of hybrid between the two. So F1 hybrids are only good the first year you grow them. After that they're not going to be F1. If you want to grow F1 hybrids, you need to buy seed every year basically, because you can't control what they've been pollinated by. And the next thing that Ken mentioned was that he was talking about his tomatoes. Now I always grow Moneymaker as a rule, and I also grow some cherry tomatoes for my wife and daughter, because they like them in the lunches. Now Ken was saying that he grew quite a variety of tomatoes last year, and he recommended a few. So what I've done is I've gone out and I've bought some at great cost, £1.89 I spent for these, on some Alicante tomatoes. Now I've not grown these before myself, not to my knowledge anyway, but what I will be doing this year, Ken, is from your recommendation I'm going to grow some of these as well, along with the Moneymaker, to see what they're like in comparison. So what I've done is I've already put in a number of Moneymaker. I'll also be planting some of these Alicante seeds. If you can see that, I'll just lean forward. They're the Alicante seeds, and these are from Mr. Fothergill's Alicante, and these are you're supposed to put them in pretty much now, to be honest with you. So I'll be sowing these this weekend, and then I'll be what I'll probably do is put some Alicante in both sides of the greenhouse like I did last year, and I'll put some Moneymaker in both sides. I'll obviously label up each one so I can compare them to see the yield and the taste and everything else, but I'll try them this year. So Ken, if they don't work, I'm going to blame you. Right, the last comment comes from Rob, from Moogibs, and he was talking about cuttings and stuff like that, and he was saying what a good idea it is to sort of increase your plants and stuff like that. And as I was explaining when I did that in the Mother Nature section, cuttings is a really good way of sort of increasing your plants, particularly obviously perennials. Annuals you can't do it with, obviously, but and the good thing about cuttings is as well, if you've got plenty of friends or other people with allotments and stuff like that, they are always happy to let you have a cutting of something, or or to take seeds and stuff like that. Allotment keepers always, allotment holders always try to help each other, I find. And cuttings are a really good way of sort of getting lots of different plants, and you can grow so many things from cuttings. And I think really the plants that you grow from cuttings are typically a lot stronger than you do from seed. These lavender plants are a perfect good example of that. I grew them from seed 2 years ago now, and they're only kind of still that big, where I've grown lavender in the past, and it's grown into a nice big bush. So cuttings are a good way to go. Obviously you always ask the person before you take a cutting, but you will find if you ask somebody if you can take a couple of cuttings off a plant. Funny enough, last year a bloke came to the front door, and he said I'm sorry to bother you. He said I live a few villages up the road, and he said every time I drive past your house I always admire the plant that you've got in your front garden. And it is actually a type of lavender, but it grows about every year. It grows about kind of 4 or 5 foot high. And I said, by all means take some cuttings. He said, oh, thank you for that. And he took a few cuttings off it. And it doesn't bother me at all. If somebody wants a cutting or something, they're more than welcome to it. And to be honest with you, I did take some cuttings off that plant the year before, but I had to give them all away. I said to him, if you'd have asked me a few months ago, I could have given you some plants. But it's always nice to let somebody have a cutting or whatever, or for you to grow cuttings yourself. So always look out for any plants that you like, and obviously if you know the people, most people are approachable. If you ask them, they'll always let you take a cutting or two, and then you can have the same plants as they've got. So that was the question section for this week. So something else I'm going to put in is some salad leaves. Now these are these are quite nice for the beginning of the year for sort of sandwiches and stuff like that. So I'm just going to put a few in now. I've also got some iceberg, sorry no, it's not iceberg lettuce, it is intred. If you can see that, it's quite a sort of pinky colour. But I'm also going to be putting a bit of that in as well, but I'll be sort of growing these again in the greenhouse as a bit of salad. Now with salad, again, it's a small seed, so you know you don't need to plant them too sort of deep. So what I'm going to do is make a small indentation with my finger on each of these little. I'll just show you the seed. So what I'm going to be doing is planting like a pinch of the soil in for each one. So it's going to, that's the actual seed, and I'm just basically just putting I don't know, about 5 or 6, 7 seeds in each one, and that'll sort of form a little clump. Now, if you remember, I grew these last year, and I put them in the carrot bed behind me, and it's quite nice. I find if you do grow, the thing with this salad leaf is you really do need to grow a succession of it. You know, don't sort of be tempted to plant too much of it, because it all comes quite quickly, and you find that really you don't get to eat it quick enough. Now, you know, as I've said before, you know, I'm a family of 5, or I should say, I'm in a family of 5. I'm not personally a family of 5, but you know, even though we do eat salad, you know, you will sort of struggle to get through so much of this. So now I've got sort of what's that, 15 little compartments there, and all you need to do really is just sort of sprinkle in the bits in there. All I've done basically is just sort of pushed over the bits of the soil. So I've literally just covered them. I haven't done any more than that. And all I'm going to do with that again is water them, put a piece of glass over, just for a couple of days. And what I do find is with the lettuce, what I do like to do is just get a pot on the top and just push them down, because what you want to do is make sure that the ground is firm. Now, I didn't sort of compress it down before I put the seed in, but the reason I'm doing this, now I've sort of pushed it down like that, I don't know if you can see that, but as soon as the seedlings come up, if you've got a piece of glass, if you imagine, if you've got a piece of glass over the top like that, it's only about a sort of centimetre or so from the glass to the bottom. What you don't want to do is for the salad leaves to touch the glass, because they'll get kind of scorched by that. So what you want to do is, as soon as they start to come up, you need to take the glass off and lift it away. The other thing you can do, as I've already explained, is lift the glass off slightly by just putting something round for it to you know, to kind of sit on. But that's it for the lettuce. Obviously, put a label in there so you don't get mixed up with what you've done. But I'll do that in a minute. But that's the salad leaf for this spring. And putting in the lettuce is exactly the same, except for these. All I'm going to do is put 2 seeds in each cell, and I'll just plant them exactly like that. You know, it's literally a 2-second job to do this. But again, with the lettuce, you need to be thinking about growing a succession of it. So I would tend to plant some of these probably about every 3 weeks, and then obviously depends on how many grow. But if you grow 15, you know, you need to think to yourself, how many of these will I grow? Sorry, how many of these will I eat in a fortnight? And if the answer to that is no more than 15, then obviously you need to be planting them about every 3 weeks. So I shall give these a quick water, plant the lettuce exactly the same except for fewer seeds, and that will be the salad for the first couple of months of this year. Just a quick bit of advice once I put the lettuce in. The one thing I do every year, and I know I've said this before in some of my earlier videos, but if you're planting, most certainly if you're in the kind of UK climate or even cooler, it's a really good bit of advice to put your potting compost in your greenhouse a few days before you're going to use it. The reason being, so this is just the lettuce I'm putting in, the reason being is you want the compost to be nice and warm, obviously, for when the seeds get in there. And obviously, if you're leaving it outside, apart from the fact it's going to get probably wet, that you're, you know, when you put your seeds first in the compost, the compost is going to be warm. Now, if I put my hand on this compost, it feels nice and warm. And the lettuce seeds there, I don't know if you can see them. They look like grass seeds. And I'm just putting a couple of these in each one. So the best advice I can give you is as soon as you buy your compost, put it inside your greenhouse up a corner, so it gets nice and warm. And the other tip is as well is never water anything in your greenhouse, particularly this time of year, with water straight out your water butt from outside. Always water your plants with water that's been sitting in your greenhouse. Then as soon as you finish watering, refill your watering can and then put it back in the greenhouse. That way the water will be at the same temperature as the plants in the greenhouse, and you won't thermally shock the plants when you water them. So basically, obviously, you know, sort of water your greenhouse with the water, and then as soon as you've finished watering, immediately then go and fill your watering can again with outside. Leave the watering can in your greenhouse for next time when you water, and then when you go to water, it'll be the same temperature as the you know, the plants and stuff like that in your greenhouse, so you won't thermally shock them. Okay, that's just a quick couple of tips that you can use for your seedlings. So it's time to burn all the rubbish and all of the wood that's not being used from the pallets, all the odd ends and the bits that are split have all gone in there. So I should be burning for a few hours. So I hope this episode of Jim's Allotment Garden has been useful for you. Please do put any comments or any questions you've got below, and I'll always get back to you. And I'll see you on the next episode of Jim's Allotment Garden.